Hello, boys and girls. In our last video, we looked at all the steps, the first steps in drafting a piece of procedural writing. We took an idea or a topic that we know a ton about, and we used our trusty first, then, next, finally chart to get all our ideas in order. So if you haven't seen that video, if you haven't watched that lesson, the link is in the description below. Be sure to check that out and make your own fancy schmancy chart. We have done all of the hard work. Now what we're going to do is take all of the idea from our chart and we are going to turn it into a piece of writing.
Now, if we were just making a list, like a recipe, all we would have to do is number all of our points from our chart and turn them into sentences and make it look pretty and be done. But a piece of procedural writing is different. We're going to turn our points into sentences and put all those sentences together like a paragraph.
So when you're writing a piece of procedural writing, it's really important to have a good title. Otherwise, people won't know what it is that you're trying to tell them how to do. So I'm going to keep my title simple today. My title is just going to be How to Tie Your Shoes. But you could be way more creative with your title if you want it. The title could be Have you ever wondered how to tie your shoes? Or the most awesome way to tie your shoes. Whatever title you choose, it should tell the reader what you're writing about and be interesting and engaging and make them want to read more.
Now we're ready to start writing. That title, or that big word in each section of our chart, is going to be the first word in our sentence. For instance, in my first section, it starts with first. So that's what I'm going to start with. Then I'm going to add in my point so that it turns into a sentence. When I'm done, it will say, first, take each lace in each hand. Notice that I've turned my capital T into a little t, and I've added a period, and this turns the whole thing into my first sentence. Now, we're going to add our ideas from the next section in a sentence right after what we just wrote, because all of our sentences are going to be together. The first word of my next sentence is going to be then, because that's the title of that section. Now, we add in our points to make a sentence. Here, we have 2 points, so we could try to write each point in its own sentence, or we could try to write both points in the same sentence by putting an and in the middle.
If you're ever not sure whether you should make 2 small sentences or one really long sentence, the best way to figure it out is honestly to just try and read each one out loud, whether it's to yourself or to a friend or a parent or somebody else, because most of the time the one that sounds the best is probably going to sound the best in your writing as well. So I'll try reading it both ways. Remember, we always pause when there's a period. So the first way it would sound would be if I put each idea into its own sentence. So that would sound like this. Then cross the laces. Pull one around and under the other lace. Now if I made them both points into one big sentence with an and in the middle, it would sound like this. Then cross the laces and pull one around and under the other lace. So it's really up to you which one you think sounds better. They would both work. I'm going to put each sentence in it, or each point in its own sentence, just to keep it simple for today.
We're ready to add our ideas from the next section. And our sentence is going to start with the word next, and we're going to use it to build a sentence with our next point. For instance, it says, next, make a loop with one of the laces and pinch it between your thumb and finger. I have another point in this section, so I'm going to make sure that it gets its own sentence too. Time to add the points from our last section, and you should be getting the groove by now. We're going to start with the word finally and use it to build a sentence with our next point. When you're all done, we do one last check for periods and capital letters, make sure all our sentences are in order, and read it aloud to yourself or to someone else to make sure it makes sense. I'm going to try it. How to tie your shoes. First, take each lace in each hand. Then, cross the laces. Pull one around and under the other lace. Next, make a loop with one of the laces and pinch it between your thumb and finger. Wrap the other lace around the loop. Finally, pull the same lace underneath itself until you have 2 loops. Pull each loop tightly. Did that sound like it made sense to you?
Now it's your turn. Remember, go section by section and use that big word on your chart to start off each section and turn your points into sentences. Remember to take your time, do your best, always check for capitals and periods in your sentences, and I can't wait and see how they turn out. Take care.